It might add some ambiance.
Yeah, there's a little pit stop action going on.
Welcome back to another episode of Talking Side by Side. My name is Justin. We're here with Zach from Dirt Dudes today. How are you, man?
Doing good, enjoying this Florida-like weather in Michigan right now.
Yes,
super muggy, but we got a crew of people out here that are all coming to rip with us today, so
yeah,
can't beat it.
No, it's going to be a great time. I really appreciate you guys getting back to me and agreeing to do this. I think there's going to be a lot of people that are really going to like these. I'm doing you and Jake separately. Obviously we may do something together too, and yes, I'm wearing the same clothes, and because we're doing this on the same day, we're going to get a little bit of footage of this before it gets too muddy. So Zach, tell us what we're riding in today, bud.
So we got ourselves a Pro R. I got it right when they released. I immediately called, seeing the release trailer from Players. I was like, sold, take my money. Accessory wise, I got a turbo kit on it. Stock, they come 225 horsepower with the aftermarket Assassin's kit. Running the base tune, it's 350 horsepower.
Wow.
So this thing is absolutely insane. It changed this vehicle. A Pro R is already pretty fast. The suspension is what's unbelievable on this thing, just stock, but it needed that more power. It's like a stock X3 could kind of kick its, and now it's unrealistic. It feels fictional. Like when I go and drive this thing, it doesn't feel, I'm like, I own this?
Right.
It's in my garage. I get to go drive this whenever
awesome.
I want. Got a full MTS setup, which we work with them. My buddy Chad, BLR Suspension, he is like the only valving dealer like on the East Coast. Like he can fully set up your car, and we work with them. The most underrated upgrade I think anybody could put on their vehicle. Like people don't, it's so good out of the box, and no one's used to this good of a suspension from a Jeep. Even a dirt bike quad, you don't get this type of suspension. You go into it and it's like, I don't need to do that. I need to throw tires and lights on it and everything else but upgrade this. And I put it on last year, went to MTS's shop and then to Glamis. I'm like, this car can do everything that I've dreamt of. I'm like, I got myself a mini trophy truck.
Right.
I mean,
that's awesome.
It's got a bunch of other stuff on it, more like the full aftermarket Assassin setup, Atlas radius rods. Right now we just put 37-inch old bore tires on it, the rock scrapers, which I've used in Windrock. Amazing. Game changer, stickies.
Nice.
And the vehicle is just running freaking 37s by changing a little clutching. Like, that's ridiculous. That's like, imagine putting 37s on your turbo less and not doing anything.
Right.
Dream on, sucker. Accessories are endless. Voodoo cage. I don't know. It's endless. It's endless. It never ends.
Yeah, it's always evolving. Always.
Yeah, anybody that says they think that their project car is done, they're lying to themselves and everybody else.
All right, well, let's get to it, guys. We'll see you on the trail. All right, we're recording.
We're live?
We are live.
Hell yeah.
All right, guys, change of plans. Weather kind of kicked us out of the other machine. It's got a full windshield, no wiper, so we're actually in the Expedition, which is cool. I've never been in one of these before. This thing is like a truck.
Yeah, it's like a Jeep. It's basically, I mean, even the button setup and everything feels very Jeep-like.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's off-brand Jeep.
Right.
It's just a different setup. I mean, I love this thing. I've had it for like 6 months. I'm not a slow type of driving type of guy, so this was a new type of riding style for me. Yeah, it grew on me pretty quick. I have a Turbo Pro R that you guys saw and I didn't have it for a while.
Let's follow behind.
Oh, you want me to get behind? Yeah. I didn't have it for a while, and getting used to this, it brainwashed me. I almost really thought I didn't need to freaking have a fast vehicle. Do you have a GoPro on the... Yeah.
On the back of him, yeah.
The horn is very powerful.
That's awesome. That's awesome. All right, guys, so we are in cab with Zach from Dirt Dudes. Zach, how the heck are you, buddy?
I'm doing awesome, man. Second time here at the mountains. It's been years, and getting to explore around in this machine, it is really bad. And just so you know, no matter what, even if it's raining, we're going and getting in the Pro R.
Right.
Who cares? Even if I can't see, just trust me, dude. We'll make it.
Okay.
I don't want to crash, and I don't want to die, so you're safe.
Right. So you've just recently went full time with Dirt Dudes UTV, correct?
Yeah, probably about a year and a half, I think it's been. Yeah, I shut down my 10-year car hauling business to do this full time, and yeah, I just kind of reached this point where I was like, I've been doing the YouTube simultaneously, and for years. I think I've been doing I started the YouTube channel in April of 2018, so it's been a while. I don't know, trying to do 2 jobs that because at first it was just for fun. I didn't plan on actually making anything. It was just like, oh, this would be fun to be able to show everybody our ride. Like, it sucks when you're like talking to your buddy like, hey, I did this, and it's like scrolling through your phone trying to figure out. It's like, no, here, check out this YouTube video. Even if it's not good, it's just an easy way to share stuff with people.
Right.
And then next thing I knew, like, I'm not a computer guy. I knew zero editing. Every video I've ever edited, I have zero skills in that world. Like, I try to do a PowerPoint setup or anything like that. Woo! your boys YouTubing some stuff. But over the years, I got pretty good with Final Cut Pro, and I don't know, started getting these things, and I was like, man, what if I could get some like 3 parts at least, something,
right?
And it's like, next thing I know, it's like one thing led to another, and it was more than just 3 parts. It was a job opportunity. It's like, make different streams of revenue with this business, the website, Patreon, merchandise, whatever it may be. It's like,
right.
Because I'm sure you know, being a content creator, this is a very hard thing. I mean, my car hauling business is ridiculous. It's like I'll be gone for weeks, maybe a month or something like that, depending on what's going on. And brutal business, and it was very stressful. This is a weird thing because there's no blueprint per se on how to be successful in this industry of content creating, and so you're just kind of figuring it out, just trying stuff.
Yeah, it's it's a constant navigation of, you know, what you like and what you think's cool versus what other people like and what other people think is cool, and trying to find that balance so you don't get burnt out, because you want to create the stuff that you want to create, but you also want to create stuff that people are going to watch. That's such a difficult balance sometimes to find.
Found that out in the beginning, man, because you're watching yourself and you remember that moment. You were there.
Right.
You're like, that was sweet. It don't quite sometimes translate the video. And
no, because no hill ever looks as steep as it is on video as it is in real life.
I don't understand it, man. We go to space. How can they not make a camera that, like, translate hills? Come on, brother. Someone needs to step their game up.
Right.
Oh, man, we're freaking wheeling in the expedition through here. Yeah, we need to turn on the old AC, man. It's a little muggy. You get the full experience.
Nice, dude. This is so nice.
It's the Cadillac up off roads, bro.
I made fun of this when it first came out, just because it was so expensive. I feel like it's probably absolutely worth it.
Dude, yeah. You got to go on a ride in one. I mean, there's a lot of criticism with this thing because of how expensive it is.
Yeah.
And it is. It's outrageously expensive. And, I mean, if I didn't do this for a business, I wouldn't own this thing.
Right.
I wouldn't be like, that's a lot of money to fork out. And then people ask me, what would you pick, your Pro or if you had to choose? It's the same thing with that me and you were talking about, like Jeep versus this. It's 2 different things.
Right.
They're not it's just 2 different riding styles. This is great for this.
Right.
Freaking perfect. Fantastic.
Right. Yeah, we're in here out of the weather. It rained on me in there the whole time. Like, this is awesome.
This is literally a mobile podcast studio, dude. Like, for what you're doing, this is money. Yes. Are you trying to torture me, Jake, bro?
It looks like it.
I'm not doing that. That's a lot of angle. It looks. I don't know. I guess I'll try. It gets so sketchy in this thing. It's not like, it's definitely top heavy, but it's like, yeah, it's just not being used to being enclosed in a side by side.
Right.
Like that freaking Venom shifter, dude. Those things are bad.
Yeah, that thing is awesome.
How am I looking on your side? Got space?
You're good.
Yep. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
See, like, all this is, like, pretty easy in that. I'm sure it felt like nothing the entire time. This is like when you, like, are taking a vehicle you shouldn't be doing certain things with, and you're like, wow, that was intense.
Talking about you starting this in 2018, your first video, I actually watched your first video on my way up here.
The one of Carl flipping?
Yeah, it was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah. That's what started it that night. When he did that, my brother recorded it. It's like, you know what? I've been talking about this. I'm just going to make it. And then this way, everybody can see the video that we all know. Easier way to share it.
And as I was scrolling back through, I was looking, and I believe that from just starting your channel then, I think I saw 5 videos that had under 1,000 views, and that's it. And there's a lot of videos on your channel.
Yeah. I think I got like 400 something or something like that on there, but some of them are shorts. But like long form content, there's a lot.
Yeah.
And that was kind of the thing of why it made me pursue it harder and harder, even though I didn't really think it would be anything. That little bit of success, honey, into being like, I think I could do this. Bye, Jake. I'm done waiting for you. We got to go to the front and get that fuel. Yeah, it made me feel like, okay, this is a possibility, the getting invited, and I don't know, those first videos when you watch, only getting a few hundred views or something like that, even that, it feels like, oh my gosh, hundreds of people watched my video, but then all of a sudden you get video that, like, for a guy that doesn't even know what the hell he's doing, editing everything, and it's like, oh, 20,000 views, like back then or whatever, over the years that keep growing.
So one of the biggest videos on my channel is actually not even remotely what I do. It's a cell phone video that I took of the last 2 laps of the Freedom 500. I just posted it just because I wanted to. Nick Seuss finished second. I think Cletus actually won that race. You know, none of my cool B-roll edits, you know, none of my cool riding content. Of course it's got to be something like that. You just never know what's really going to take off. And I don't know if you know this yet or not. You have your first video that's getting ready to pass 100,000 views. Did you know that?
And I was coming up, it's the Expedition one, isn't it? Or is it the Badlands one?
Yep.
Yeah, the freaking Expedition one. I did a review on this. That one's creeping up on it.
Yeah.
And that one's not that old.
Yeah, so
it's crazy because, like, I don't know, I see a lot of channels, no offense to them, maybe not nearly as big, and so I have random videos that got like 1 million views or something. And I'm like, what magic sauce do you put in this thing to make it do that?
Right.
It's the weirdest thing with this content. You just don't know what works. Sometimes I make content and it gets really bad views, and then you do almost the exact same thing and it does really well. And it's like, what was the difference? And then it's like, you go down the rabbit hole of your thumbnails, tags. I mean, that thumbnail right there is, I hate how much that's a thing. Like, getting people to click. Because I don't want to be clickbaity. I hate clickbait.
Right.
But you're almost forced.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like, you guys maybe don't like that I did this and maybe it wasn't exactly what it is. It's still pretty damn close. Right. Maybe like the crash wasn't as gnarly or something like that. There's always some sort of substance behind that thumbnail. If you don't do it, you're not getting the views and you're just struggling. It's like, my goal is to, like, I do it full time. It's not like I make a bunch of money. I got a bunch of cool toys and experiences, which is worth a lot in itself, but it's not like I got a bunch of money, like I can just go and flaunt. It's like, it seems like it, but when you roll up in the bass rig and stuff, and it's like, hey man, I eat a lot of ramen.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't realize that. You know, a lot of people see, you know, 45 minutes of, you know, what took probably 5 days to film, you know, on a trip or something. So I used to tour with Monster Jam, and we were like the official music act. I did this drummer DJ battle show thing. And yeah, it looked fun and it looked great because I shared all the fun stuff. You know what I mean? But nobody sees like the travel time, the amount of money it costs to travel, the fact that you're the first one there and then you're the last one to leave, and you got to tear everything down, set everything up. And, you know, there's a lot more to it than just the fun side that people see.
It can make it, that's where the content creation, like burn, like that you get burnt out on, it can come from, man. It can definitely happen. I've had my flows with it on and off, especially going full time. Like when I was working, I had it happen, but I'm making money. It ain't a like live or death type of situation here.
Right.
It's now that it's like, hey, this is what makes you, this pays the bills, feeds you, everything. It's like you're always trying to figure out something, especially if you're doing 2 to 3 videos a week or something like that. An insane regimen for anybody to be like, especially me. Jake lives 2+ hours away from me.
Oh, wow.
It's like, it's a lot of me trying to figure some stuff out. He tries his best to travel there and help when he can, but again, he's full time.
Right.
It's hard. Like, my goal has been since being full time is to be able to get him or my buddy Nick to be full time, and it's insane. I mean, I literally sacrificed one of my vehicles, my RS1. I did that giveaway. It was like, I'm like, I want them to be part of this, because for me it's insane to do it all yourself. That's what will give you that content burnout. And I don't know, I've tried everything. It's just not enough to because to ask somebody to give up their business, because like Nick runs his masonry business, he's working for a trucking company and stuff. It's like, I hope that I can do this, but there's no guarantees with the way things are right now. Even with all the revenue streams, the overhead in this hobby is freaking insane. You gotta have a 1-ton diesel truck. I'm pulling a freaking 53-foot trailer right now. It's bananas. I never thought in a million years that when I started doing this, to be doing to get around. Should we wait towards the end of it, or just get into it now? It's up to you.
We can just get into it now. Let's just do it.
All right, let's do it. We'll get into it now. I don't know, man. Props to the people that can do this, or even in any genre are able to make a full-time living. Because there's people that got some pretty serious followings with way more than what I got, and they still have a second job. Maybe it's because they don't want to depend on the YouTube paycheck or whatever their revenue streams are, because that is a scary thing. You're depending on YouTube to pay you every month.
Yeah.
You have no control of how I'm going to pay you, which it does vary every month.
Right.
It's like it's towards holiday seasons, you get more avenue stream, but my YouTube stuff is not what pays me the most every month.
No.
It's like my website's probably the most beneficial, but that can be so hit and miss.
Right.
It's all of a sudden you're not making content, or so self-conscious of trying to harp down people's throats of me promoting my revenue streams or products, because you can't help it. You can read the comments and people are like, "Is it turn it into an advertising video or whatever it may be?" And it's like, brother, you like the videos? Right. I took 10 seconds out of your world to mention a product that you might like, you might use. It's not really a negative thing.
That allows us to do this.
Yeah, it allows us to do this. It's like, I love all my sponsors and everything, but most sponsors, when you try to work with them, it's all about them giving you parts or something like that, which is cool, but eventually that only goes so far.
Yeah, parts don't pay the bills, and you can't eat them, so.
And I've always said I'm really great at making other people money.
Right.
Maybe not myself.
My main job, what I do for work, is marketing for off-road companies. So I know exactly what you're talking about, because I make them a lot of money.
Yeah, it's like, which I'm happy I'm able to do. It's like, it's a thing, it's a tool I can use to work with other companies. Just imagine, it's a matter of figuring out how to get them to give you just money instead. Right. Because it's like that advertising does have a value point.
Yeah.
But most people, it's hard for them to see it, because it's like this content thing is still new, and then you put it in the off-road industry. Now you're dealing with, no offense, but usually older guys. They're not much of a TikTok. I'm 31. I hate TikTok. Right. I just started a TikTok account a few months ago. I still don't really post on it. I don't know. So, I mean, it's like you're trying to sell this thing onto an older community in the off-road industry. It can be a hard sell sometimes. Some people get it, though.
All right, you ready to
start? Time? 350 horsepower?
Yeah, let's do that.
125 to 350. Let's do it. Hopefully this very small microfiber towel will make this window last the entire time.
For what?
Just a couple bits of your stuff, just so I could put a couple clips in mine.
Yeah.
And do some advertising for you, draw some people there.
Yeah, I can absolutely share some of that with you. That's no problem.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
No problem.
I really like these headsets. I like the idea of not being connected. There it goes. I need new batteries. They ain't happy. They've seen better days.
Now we're in the Pro R.
Yeah. This is the coolest build I've done. I've had the 2 Turbo S. I built out a Mini America version of this one. Right. One I gave away. Yeah, this thing's just insane. It feels fake, dude. Doesn't feel like this is going to be in my garage later tonight. Like,
That's funny because he said the same thing. He's like, man, I drive around in this, and I'm like, own this machine, and I think most of us, man, that get these things and build them out and get them the way they want, like that every time we pull it out of the garage.
I don't know, man. I've been into off-road my entire life, basically. So I lived in Florida for 4 years. I moved back. I was like, I don't know, how old, 5th grade, and my brother and dad got me a Yamaha Bear Tracker, like a utility one. Yeah. Definitely not sporty. Made it like a sport vehicle all the time. And that just changed my life. I was actually supposed to go back to Florida, and I didn't go back because of how much fun I was wandering around and just like, I mean, it felt like I had my license when I was 12. Like, it's like I was driving up to my buddy Nick's house. It's like 10, 15 miles away by myself on a 4-wheeler.
That's crazy. I was doing the same thing. So I got my first 4-wheeler, and we lived, I mean, my mom and my dad still live there, but it was way out in the middle of nowhere. We had a lot of acres. It was all wooded. We had no neighbors, so none of my friends lived anywhere near me. But there were back roads that I could take all the way to my buddy's house in the next town. And, I mean, from the time I was like, probably 10, 11 years old, that's what we did, man. We were always on some sort of quad or, well, 3-wheelers. 3-wheelers were thing back then.
Yeah, the 3-wheelers that was a death trap right there. There's a reason they quit selling those suckers.
Yeah. The old school Honda Odysseys, those were awesome.
Yeah. I never owned one, but I hauled one when I was a car hauler. I think there was 2 of them at once. This guy had like a track he built in the backyard and had like freaking, I don't know, 8 Honda Odysseys. I'm like, you are living a life, brother. You got like a bad go-kart track, basically. 2-wheel drive, just creeping, dog.
Yeah, on 37s.
On 37s. I mean, all you do is, like, right now, my clutching ain't changed. We're running on 35-inch setup. And, I mean, it's nothing. The low gear in this car and that Turbo R is insane. You don't need a lower to lower the gear. One thing that does suck, you get the Super ATV A-arms, which I highly don't recommend. 1.5 forward on a Pro R, don't do it.
Right.
You lose so much steering radius. Yeah, they're already not the greatest at steering. And by 1.5 forward, it destroys it, man. For tight trails like Windrock or this right here,
What's your favorite kind of terrain to ride?
It's a tough question. Like, I think I'm at my happiest when I'm in that zen mode of going really fast. It's always been my thing. So, like, dirt biking, I just like a lot of open trails, hauling things. That was what I loved. Towards the end, I got into steel tracks and stuff. I don't know. I love the rock crawling, man. It's really grown in 2 years, which was surprising because I'm like, that's dumb. Who wants to just go destroy your stuff?
Right.
Hell, me, I guess. It's weird how fun. It's disturbing almost.
Yeah.
It sucks when it actually breaks, but like that moment when you're struggling and trying to get some climb and you do get it, that victory feeling is hard to describe.
My first time at Windrock, used to do some work for a company out of Mississippi called Main Street Cycle, and I had a CF Moto, a Z4. It was rough.
Yeah.
I mean, it did everything, but man, like that was my first time really like rock crawling. It was a lot to learn, man, and try to figure out. And my nerves got to me pretty good because some of that stuff, man, you're on the side of a mountain, bro, and it's scary. You know,
really translate that well too when you're trying to show people on cameras. It's hard. If you were to get a full 360 of that area, it's like I'm at the top of a mountain climbing climb on top of the mountain. Right. Like, if we go backwards, we're going to...
Yeah.
It's gunzo.
Yeah, lots of feet down. Many, many feet down.
Like, we've been to Windrock twice, and these cars right here are just so ridiculous. It makes rock crawling a whole different thing. When getting to take people for their first time to experience this stuff, and, like, you already kind of know what you're doing, that is such a fun feeling, man. It reminded me of, like, dirt bikers who'd never done single tracks. And then once I got pretty good at it, overtaking people and just watching them in hell, just like way behind you, super tired. Because you think you're fast, and then you hit a single track, and you're like, oh, I'm not that fast.
I'm not that fast at all.
The freaking, but that train question, I would have to say speed, though, man. It's my bread and butter. Been doing it forever. Like this thing, I just recently went on a trail ride, and it was my first time really doing a long trail ride with the turbo MTS setup on this thing. Yeah, I've probably done it a billion times, but it was fake feeling. I'm like, this is stupid. I'm like, I don't know what a rally feels like, but it's got to be kind of close.
Right.
And this thing's kind of like what I would compare to like a Nissan GTR. There's so much assistance they can get with these vehicles. Like somebody that's not maybe the greatest driver can seem pretty capable.
Right.
They're kind of cheater codes, but you get it in the right hands of people. Like this thing is nasty.
Right.
I see why the players doesn't put a freaking turbo on this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, it's I don't know. It's already pretty insane that we can go buy these things and go shred around. It's like, what? I could go buy like a somewhat tiny trophy truck that's pretty ridiculous.
Right. Yeah, I could just basically a woods race car.
Yeah, give that to a dummy. No offense.
Right.
They kill themselves pretty damn easy.
Right.
I know some pretty wild people who just maybe wouldn't know no better.
Right.
I won't be surprised if like there's going to be special insurance we're going to have to get for these things in the future.
At some point, yeah. Well, especially you get these newbies that go buy a brand new machine, take it to the park and flip it, and then claim it on insurance. And, you know, rates have already gone up a lot since I got my first one. So,
yeah, I mean, it's damn near like a vehicle, just about.
Yeah.
I knew that was going to happen. I'm going to have to give her the old bumperoo.
Yeah.
Ooh, this mud stinks, bro.
Yeah. Natural gas mud. Must be like a natural gas spring under here or something.
Alright, I got that. The felt it hit me.
Yeah, a little bit.
I got a question for you, man. So how have you been doing the talking side-by-side stuff? So I just recently came across you, like, not that long ago. Like, basically, when you got in contact and everything.
Yeah.
So how long have you been doing this?
So I've been doing video editing and stuff like that since I was in high school. And to kind of let you know how long...
the opposite of me.
Yeah, so to let you know how long ago that was, I used to have to edit 2 VCR tapes onto a third VCR. And the way I had to overlay music was, you know, the old school, like, police recorders? They'd slide the thing in and, like, shut it down and hit record.
Oh, my gosh.
I had to use that to lay music over top of it. So, you know, content creation and, you know, making videos is something I always love to do. But I found myself...
See an evolution, like, insanely.
Yes. And, you know, I love off-road and I making videos, and I love making off-road videos, but for what I do, like, as a profession, is I'm a marketer, and so I do marketing for a number of different off-road companies, and, you know, we do really well for them, and I found myself getting burnt out. I was so sick of doing how-to videos and install videos and ride videos like everyone else that I see do ride video. I was in a funk, and I was like, man, I need to create something. I'm just trying to figure out what it was. Scrolling through YouTube, and I was thinking, like, how do I come up with something that's still off-road and cool, but different than anything else that's being produced right now? But scrolling through YouTube, I came across Hot Ones, the interview show where they just sit down, they eat 10 spicy wings while a guy asks them questions.
We do that, right?
What?
We do a podcast, and we do the Hot One.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, we've done it a few times.
I'll have to check that out.
Oh! What is Jake trying to get me to do, this freaking goon? Oh, my tires look like street tires. They're so caked with mud.
Yeah. The rock tires.
Dude, I love that show. When I was put on, it sounds messed up, but I know there's other people out there that do it, so Don't pretend like you don't. You're watching some YouTube or glancing over, listening to it. And so I was consuming insane amounts of content while car hauling, especially when I got balls deep into the side-by-side stuff.
Yeah.
But I can remember when I came across Hot One, it's like, that channel is so good, and he's such a good interviewer, Sean Evans. That channel is so good, you do that deep wormhole dive. Next thing you know, you're watching 10 of his videos in a row. Help yourself.
Well, and and so I saw that, and I was like, man, dude, I could just do interviews, because I had recently gotten these cargo sets and figured out how to record and do all of that, and I was like, man, that's what I need to do right there, because people want to know about you guys and other people in the off-road industry outside of in front of your cameras. Do you know what I mean? And when you're interviewing somebody like this, you're concentrating on driving and where we're going, and so your answers just flow so much more naturally, and it's just a much more honest kind of interview, And so when I first was trying to explain this idea to people, it's like carpool karaoke, but not.
It's true, dude. Your relation to the hot one, dude, because the hot sauce is like mess you up and answering questions like that. It's a different type of style. I didn't think about that. That is very true, and I'm noticing it because we're doing the interview and driving. And this is kind of like my natural environment, and we're totally getting stuck right now because I'm in two-wheel drive. Natural environment, baby. Isn't it ridiculous? We got backup cameras on these suckers now.
That's awesome.
The world of just from my first 17 XP Turbo to what they are now. Oh, that's almost like going from a Tonka toy. I thought that thing it is an impressive machine.
Yeah.
This is fucking bonkers.
Right. So what do you see the future as far as trends go? Do you think it'll keep going this way, or
the machine's getting bigger and more powerful and everything?
Yeah, more technology, all of that.
Yeah, I think it depends on which manufacturer is doing it. I think it's kind of obvious now. Can-Am's probably not going to go too balls to the wall when it comes to ergonomic, the interior and stuff. That's never really been their thing, in my opinion. Right. I mean, the Maverick R is the first one that has the GPS setup in it, right?
Yeah.
But the Polarises have been doing it for a while. The Ride Command thing is a pretty underutilized tool, I will say, because it can be a pain in the ass sometimes and not want to work. But if you do know how to navigate it, update it, everything like that, it is so badass. We didn't use it for a long time. Right. But in the last year and a half, we use it all the time. It is the because if you don't have service and you guys are linked up, I can just hit a button and be like, stop. If you're at a stop, you can write a custom message. That's always the best.
Right, that's awesome.
You're going really slow. You know the song on the right. It's also an app on your phone. I love all those features. Everybody can have it, even if you're not staring at it. You just put it in your phone. The dude who does see it at least knows.
Right.
I don't know. This trends go. I'm just waiting for the Maverick R. I like how they put that transmission in it, but I don't know how dependable those transmissions are or how they're doing anything. Have you rode in one?
I haven't had a chance to ride in one yet, but from everything that I have seen and the people that I know that have, they said that first, when you first get it, it sounds super clunky, but it eventually goes away. That kind of, I don't know if that double clutch, I don't know if it has to
hardcore Can-Am guy right there. Eventually the clunks go away. I say about this thing when it's messed up, dude. I'm like, it's fixing itself. This thing's it'll green.
Yeah, it'll be fine. You just turn the radio
Yeah. Maybe it does. I mean, I'm just but I mean, as I heard was mind-blowing, and we rode in two separate ones because it was the demo ride.
Right.
The one we rode, I think, had 150 miles. The other one had 300 something. I'm all the powder coating was ixnay on the trailing arms, but the players just do the same thing depending on what you're riding.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked the idea. I hate how it automatically shifts.
Yeah.
Because that was the first thing I wanted to do. It's hold some gears out. I want to hear this baby hit the rev limiter maybe.
Right.
Sports car.
Right.
And you kind of took the fun away of I get it, safety features probably, but
Right. Well, and what happens if you're in the middle of a hill climb and that thing shits? You know what I mean? Like,
you ain't making it up the hill.
yeah, no, that's a bad deal, man.
That's what it did to me too, man. Because we were riding them, I wanted to like it, and I did when I was, but I didn't really get to do that because they literally came up to us before we got in the car. So they saw my cameras. I think somebody told them who we were, and they're like, man, they were like, we don't want you recording through this. I'm like, you really don't want me to advertise your bad new car?
Right.
I'm like, if it's good, I'm going to say car.
Right.
But if it's clunky, it's clunky. I think where that car really excels is out west. Same as what people say about the Pro R, but I'm against that. I don't believe in that. I live in Michigan, and I haven't had any problems.
Right.
Is it a little tight sometimes? Yeah. But I would way rather be in this than any other vehicle. I drive my Turbo S the other day, and I was like, I honestly thought there was something wrong with it. I hooked up my dyno jet to it. I'm like, no, she's fine.
Right.
I'm like, you just got 150 more horsepower in this, and you got used to it.
Right.
Oh, what is he doing?
Oh, he wants you to crawl through that.
He's like, we're making a video while you're...
Speaking of making videos, how do you come up with ideas for your video?
Man, it kind of, I feel like it happens organically, because, I mean, it's like what you said. You get used to doing those, like, install videos. Sorry to cut you off right now, but I just think this is ridiculous that we're doing an interview, and if people can see what we're driving... And it just kind of feels like nothing.
Right.
Man, sometimes I come up with ideas and I'll implement them, but it's like what you were saying. You're doing parts, you're buying parts, upgrade your vehicle all the time, so
right.
That kind of creates some sort of thing to make a video. But, I mean, I've kind of strayed away from, like, installs and stuff like that, just because I could work on my machine, but I'm not going to tell you I'm, like, a mechanic.
Right.
Like, if the head of a bolt breaks off, I'm going to be pretty pissed off, and it's going to feel like a big issue to me.
Right. Dude, I'm the same way. Like, in all of my how-to or install videos, I let people know right off the bat, like, if I can do this, you can absolutely do this, because I am not a mechanic. I'm lucky if I get all the pieces back together, to be honest with you.
Yeah, and the thing is I do want to provide, like, content that is accurate and informational. It's like, I'll tell them that stuff, but, man, you are putting yourself out there as, like, some kind of educational thing. So you got to hold some sort of standard. Now, I kind of just do the highlights. Like, if I know exactly what I'm doing, I'll show you. It might not be the most detailed thing. There's somebody that does it, though. The YouTube is endless. There's some guy that has a freaking hour-long video showing you every step of the way. Ours is... Generally, it's an entertainment-based type of thing. When I first started Dirt Dudes, it was based off of these machines.
Right.
Like, I got that Turbo S right when it came out. It was the live valve. I immediately bought it. Same thing like this. I saw the trailer. I'm like, that's what I want. Right. I got the wrong machine. I want 72 inches wide. I want the live valve. I, like, did the YouTube thing, and I'm like, here... I am getting the views, like what you said. It was kind of weird and surprising me. It's because I had that brand new car that had no content on it, really. There was that big teaser release, I don't know if you remember, where Polaris actually took a bunch of content creators out.
Yeah.
And they did the release video. I mean, they took YouTubers out there that I remember seeing at the time had a very small following. It was such a small new niche that, like, they could basically invite anybody that had any type of following.
Right.
It's like, I wish I was just a little too late to the party there.
Right.
It's like, even though Polaris seem like they are much for working with content creators nowadays, maybe like Heavy D, the freaking idea thing, though, is like, sometimes it's just you and your boys having a good time at night. I feel like that's when some of my best ideas come up. You get that, dude, like, creative juices flowing, dude?
Yeah.
Little wobbly pops in you. Next thing you know, it's an insane journey, though, trying to figure out the content all the time. I'm sure you obviously deal with it. Yours is, like, a very specific niche. It's basically a podcast interview with this type of setup, but finding that next person, and yours is, like, I'll give you props. You got to work with random people like me and you never met until today.
Yeah, my first few interviews that I did were with people that I know and that were good friends of mine. Blake from Real Talk Power Sport. Julian from the Adrenaline Junkie channel. You know, I'm good friends with both of those guys. I've been on
I
ride.
didn't see that one. I didn't know you did Julian.
Yeah, he was the second episode.
How long have you been doing this?
I shot the first episodes actually at my event down in Mississippi in May, the first weekend of May. So I kind of came up with this idea right before that, and I was trying to figure out what to call it.
Fresh.
Do what?
This is super fresh.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's awesome, dude.
Yeah, so it's we did Blake from Real Talk Power Sports, and then I did Julian, and then I did Paige Sparks and Whiskey Biz, both. I released Paige's last week. Whiskey Biz's goes...
Watch part of that one.
Yeah, Whiskey Biz, his goes live tomorrow. And I know them as well. I've known them for about a year. They're great people. So the first one that I really did was someone that I hadn't met.
I'm going to chill here for a second. Me and him will keep talking.
The first one that I did with someone that I wasn't really acquainted with was actually Rick Spencer.
Yep.
He came down to Badlands and we shot it down there, and it was awesome. I feel like each one of these interviews are better and better.
Oh, my gosh. We're making the 37s bonkers now, dude.
But I feel like, you know, each interview keeps getting better and better, and I don't think it has necessarily anything to do with, you know, the guests, but I'm getting more comfortable with it. That's one thing that I've always... It's hard for me to, like, be in front of a camera and hold a camera and talk to it. I feel so awkward, and I feel... I try to be a very, like, down-to-earth person, and I almost feel arrogant when I do that out at places. You know what I mean? So,
I mean, anytime you're holding, especially like your nice camera, the Canon and stuff, when you got that big sucker out in public around people,
yeah,
it does. It feels weird. I've been doing it for a long time, and I still am like, It's
right.
like, just fight through it, get her done.
And I've also learned that I hate my laugh. Now that I've heard my laugh on camera, I absolutely hate it. So I got to figure out how to change that.
Dude, you got to own it. Live to the flaws and stuff like that. My best friend Nick, he has an insane laugh. It sounds like a dolphin. Anybody that watches their channel, they know him. And about his insane laugh. And I mean, it became such a thing. It's like some people do hate it. Some people are like, why is he laughing like that? I don't know. Why does your face look like that? It is what it is.
Right?
But he freaking, now to bleep out my swear words in my videos, I use his laugh.
Oh,
sounds
do
like
you?
a little dolphin.
Like SpongeBob.
Yeah. It kind of sounds like
awesome.
that.
That's awesome. Almost 30,000 subscribers.
Yep, long journey, man. Don't know what the secret sauce is for people to make those crazy jumps.
I don't think anybody knows, to be honest. I hear all these people talk about algorithms and this and that and everything. I really don't think. I think they just think they sound cool. I don't really think they know what they're talking about all the time.
I think there's some tools that do work, and there are some aspects you can do to make your stuff better, obvious quality content. I like it. We were talking about the thumbnails and titles.
Yeah.
That does play a huge role. I like, if you don't pay attention to that and really make it work, you could make the most bad video in the world, but nobody will see it. If the picture and title doesn't seem bad.
Right.
It's the bogus part about it all, but the journey of getting to 30,000 is every time there's those different milestones, it's like, I feel like I've been I want that 100,000, man. I want that plaque in my freaking studio. It's because the YouTube now being 6 years in, that's a lot of my life it's taken up. I mean, not all sunshines and rainbows either. It's been like, you make so much sacrifices to be this content creator in the very beginning, especially like you're using all your own money, everything.
Yeah.
Dude, that's brutal. It's mentally draining, and sometimes I would sit back, I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why am I spending all this money on something that doesn't even give me anything back? I mean, I've created now this audience. Obviously, it was all in the end. I mean, even if this doesn't work, and let's say tomorrow I quit Dirt Dudes, to get a year and a half of getting to do this, I mean, it sucks that it ended, but I'm glad I did it.
What made you make the leap from having, a normal, stable job and, career, business to, something like this that's risky and chancy.
Partially because I'm a little bit crazy. It's like anybody that's doing this, you got to be a little bit crazy. There's no way you're not. Man, 10 years of car hauling, that's mundane.
Yeah.
A lot of times of stuff I missed. There's a long story to it, and it gets pretty heavy and deep. I mean, it was actually a dark time in my life. It was unfortunate, and it just like, I don't know, I was on the road by myself, freaking traveling, passed out like a mofo. I'm starting to look over all my money and stuff, and I almost realized, like, I was working to just keep my business alive.
Right.
I could have just focused all my energy on my Dirt Dude stuff and just done that. It's not as dependable. You're living a little bit of a different lifestyle, but, like, I was already committed. I was sacrificing tons of stuff to be able to do the Dirt Dudes thing.
Right.
All right, we got to do...
Yeah.
We got to do a little session here.
Okay. Tell me about Crash. Tell me about Crash at the Food.
Yeah, these works are terrible. The Crash Palooza is, it's been it's my 4th year this year, Crash Palooza 4.0. And it's an event we started, and it's basically to pay tribute almost to the Dirt Army, that's what we call our people. If it wasn't for them, I wouldn't be doing this. I want to be driving this car. I want to be talking to you. I want to have those amazing experiences. So, Twisted Trails is kind enough. They let me use the park. They make their money. I put on an event, and it's for the people. It's like win prizes, freaking hang out at the park, hang out with us. All sorts of different events, and it's just escalated and escalated and escalated.
Right.
And, like last year, man, our bounty course, we didn't even know if we could make it. like we were just like, I think it's possible.
Right.
And if not,
that's awesome.
Who gets the farthest wins?
Right. So we do, so I put on events at off-road parks. It's called Backyard Mud Fest, and I do it at a park down in Mississippi. And we're actually doing one out in West Virginia this year in July at Burning Rock. And the amount of work that goes into that kind of stuff, man, people just, people don't really realize the months and months of planning and just all the stuff that goes into making those events happen. We have, events with payouts. We concert Saturday night, and whether it be barrel racing.
Sorry, dude. It's getting wild.
Whether it be barrel racing, downhill Barbie, downhill Power Wheel stuff. We always provide,
because that looks insane. The downhill Barbie stuff looks,
dude. It's so much fun, and the people love it, bro. Like, I'm pretty sure my last event we had so many people because we were doing it. Like, I knew people that came just to run in that.
Just to do the Barbie stuff, or like making badass Barbie trucks to go down?
Yeah, I mean, they modify them, and they paint them and put stickers on them. It's pretty wild.
I will say this is the first time I've ever shredded with 37s on. I've never really went that fast. I can smell. The clutching isn't set up for it.
Yeah.
But still, retarded. We're shredding on a 37.
Fun, bro.
How about that pull on that thing? That, like, you don't get the turbo lag in this thing.
Yeah.
It's just like,
yeah, yes.
It feels like the front tire is almost like overdrive. It's pulling it faster than the running an event is insane, man. People are like, do more, other area. Twisted Trails is 5 minutes now.
Yes.
So that's too convenient, man.
Yeah.
It sucks that they're selling. So, like, this might be my last. Oh, she died.
We got another battery.
Oh yeah, she's a little dead. The one event a year is good enough for me, especially because it's not like it's financially beneficial.
Right.
Like I don't like last year I made a little bit of money, but like after you like managed up time, it's not like I really made money.
Yeah,
it's
you
like
about 50 cents an hour.
I both said that if somebody was to like add up how much I make an hour with editing and all that crap, I'm like, McDonald's employee looks like he's a freaking CEO Apple compared to me.
People know
the edits are insane, especially when you're learning, man. When I first started, I would be spending, like, the video's only a half an hour long, like that, but I got 15 hours wrapped into it, 20-something hours. I'm way better and smoother, I'm more efficient at recording during the actual ride.
Right.
So it's not so bad, but still, man, I would say on average you got like 10 hours wrapped into a video, if it's a good one.
Yeah.
I hate it when I make like a really easy video, like that I like use one camera. It's all super easy to edit. Just smashes. I'm like, mother. That's why I don't use my drone that much anymore.
Yeah.
It's such a pain in the ass and inconvenient.
Yeah.
And it's like you use a 4-second clip of it.
Right.
It's nothing.
Nothing.
It's cool, but a hell of an inconvenience.
Right.
With your buddies, when I first got mine, everybody told me how crazy it was, spend all that money, this ain't a good idea, blah, blah, blah. And then I got it, and everybody fell in love. You take it for a ride and one, and they're sold.
Right.
But once I got heavy into the YouTube and we all ride together, it wasn't like the old days. Riding is no longer the same.
Right.
It's a job now. And so you're always freaking, like, stopping, changing camera angles, talking. Yeah, my brother got tired of it. He sold his shit. He's a full-blown fisherman now. He's like, you guys, it's too much. Too much stopping. Which I get it, man. It's not, it does. Like, I don't ever casually fun ride. It's pretty rare nowadays.
Right.
Especially because these things, like, my Expedition, I will say I will casually fun ride, and I've learned my lesson.
Right.
Because I already have 2,000 miles on that motherfucker.
Oh, wow.
Right. This is a swampland. I'm not going out here.
Right.
These tires ain't great for freaking shredding hard. Like, oh no! Dude, we are not crawling out of this. Come on, baby.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Oh, I gotta give her a little bumperoo. Put your smoky device down, brother. Come on. There's that trench right in front of us that we're slipping into.
Yep.
Here, take her out of rock mode, give her a little bit more power. Oh man, that slow throttle control is actually kind of saving her ass.
Yeah.
I feel like if I stomp on it, ain't no way.
Well, father. You might be the first one stuck.
Yeah. Oh. We can't even go backwards.
No.
Can't even go backwards. Yeah, I was backing up. I didn't see that drop off. I ain't getting stuck in this swamp. Oh! Yeah, I wanted to almost kind of go back to that thing we were talking about, like with the what made me do the leap and all that stuff. Because you were saying how you were having that feeling, man, of like, I got to do something. Like, I was so down in the dumps. I was actually... I was just feeling so down in the dumps, like, just life-wise. Dirt Dudes was like, man, it's hard to get, like, these guys on all the time, and, like, the YouTube life, they don't wait for anybody. They want you
doing 2 videos a week. It's scheduled. They want you to be a TV show, even though there is no damn TV show that's all year long. 2 new videos every week. It's fictional.
Right.
Yeah. They're asking for outrageous stuff, and sometimes who knows if it's real or not. YouTube punishing you. I feel like they do sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like
well, when I would get in my moods and I would go on little hiatuses, I would notice when I come back, when they're used to, they were used to me posting every 3 days, every 2 days, and then when I took like 2 weeks off. And then posted my next video that I posted.
Yep. That's how mine are too. Sometimes. Unless you come back with that good hitter. But I've been doing it for so long in our dirt army, like I feel like the 30,000 people, or just about 30,000 people of subscribers we have on YouTube, doesn't really reflect the amount of people that know about Dirt Dudes. Because you could go in your analytics and see returning viewers and stuff like that. There's 20,000 more people that are still watching but not necessarily subscribing. I do have a good subscriber watch percentage, like it's well over 50% of like the actual subscribers are coming there and watching the content, which is nice. So when it sucks you don't put something out because they're like, where the hell is my fucking videos? And but it's like, even if it is a couple weeks later, I've gotten lucky lately. Like we just went on a 2-week hiatus. Again, run a lot of solo stuff. It's like I'm sitting there like doing taxes and stuff. I'm like, I can't even think about making a video, bro. I need some. Just gotta mentally take a seat back and sort out my life just a little bit. Because if you are on that grind, which I've done, I think the most consistent I ever was 2 years straight. I did a whole year of 1 video a week. Didn't miss 1 week, and then the next year I did 2 videos a week for a whole year straight. Really helped propel the growth. Also, it's a great way to like have your girlfriend pissed off at you, miss a bunch of family stuff. Like when you eat, sleep, and breathe this life, it like, and maybe other people don't feel the same way. Like I don't know if you got a wife or girlfriend, but eventually they can get pretty tired of it. It's like. As when you're a content creator, even if it's not side by sides, whatever your niche is, if you're a content creator, you're living and breathing that life. And it's like, it consumes you.
It does. Like every, even those times that you have set aside to either spend with family or things like that, you're still checking your phone. Things are going off. People are asking questions. You're trying to think about, okay, like, what do I got to get ready for tomorrow? What all am I going to need? Like, and it's hard. It's hard to get away from it. You work so much more than you would a normal job. If you're doing 2 or 3 videos a week, you're easily working longer than 40 hours. By the time,
way more.
Yeah.
You're
by
editing
the time
40 hours.
Yeah, by the time, it's little things that people don't think about. Dumping SD cards, deleting SD cards, charging all your batteries, like making sure you have enough things to charge all of your batteries so they're all charged in time for the thing you got to go do. Like, there's a lot that goes into it that people just don't see. They only see the fun stuff. That's normally the only thing that gets shared.
You're showing them the 1% of all the footage that you made. You're seeing all the best stuff. I'm not showing you me screaming at my computer because my internet blows because I live in the bumfuck Egypt and it don't work. It's like, like my biggest struggles for like just not like outside of recording all that stuff is my internet. I live in the middle of nowhere. I don't have fiber optics.
Oh yeah.
I have never uploaded a video at my house.
Really? Wow.
6 years. Like I've uploaded a couple through my phone. Charged into it, running off of satellite with my AT&T service, sitting in the middle of my yard.
Right.
So it gets the best service. Like, and that was when my videos were pretty small, like maybe shooting 30 frames, but everything I do now is 60, 4K. Yeah. It's a huge freaking video file. I need fiber optics. Yeah. I got Starlink. Oh, I live in this valley. Right. So like when all the leaves are off, not that bad, but right now all the leaves came. I had to go back to my old crappy internet because my Starlink wouldn't work. I need like a 200-foot pole to like get it above all the trees.
Come on, Elon. You should have that figured out by now.
$120 a month?
bro, I switched back to the other internet and it works fine. Because I still can't download or upload videos with it.
Right.
And I'm like, $35 a month. I'm like, oh.
That's hilarious.
Honey, for 2-3 years with that down payment, sitting there waiting, thinking you're going to change my life.
Right. So, while we're waiting to be rescued.
Yeah, I'm going to text Jake. Hey, brother, want to come and get me? I don't want to use my winch because my battery's a little salty.
Do you have any memorable interactions with your fans that have impacted you personally or professionally?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I wouldn't say there's one particularly that sticks out, but there's been hundreds of interactions. Like, what blows my mind is me going out, 2,500, 3,000 miles. Like, we're at Camp Razor. I mean, it sounds weird, but when you do get recognized, and it's like people are coming up to you all the time and asking you about it, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling. It's like people, my buddies or whatever, make fun of me. I'm a little celebrity, whatever. It's like, yeah, in this little off-road niche, I'm like, it's not like I'm going to the mall, like, oh, stop.
But, you know,
it's unbelievable. It makes you feel insanely grateful because if it wasn't for those dudes, I wouldn't be doing this.
Well, and the sense of accomplishment, you know, like when someone recognizes you, like, oh, all of that time, all of the money, like, all of it wasn't for nothing.
Yeah, it's that, like, will you go get Jake? Will you go grab him? I need some help.
Let's get her
I
down.
kind of wanted to get Jake over here to record it, too. If you would, he's sitting right over there in that track. Thank you, dude. Actually, never mind, he's calling me. Hey, Jake, what we were just talking about, what was the question?
Memorable experience.
Man, when people come up and they talk to me and about, like, hey, I got into this because of you, like, that's just awesome. It's insane because I was that guy. Like, I, at one point in time, had zero interest in side-by-sides. I thought they were stupid. I'm like, that thing's got to just break all the time. I was a dirt biker. I was like, that was my thing. And when I went on an elk hunting trip and I rode in a Razor, what was that, an 800 when it's like 65 horsepower or whatever, 50 inch.
Right.
I mean, it was all 50 inch trails. It blew my mind. I could not believe it. I was like, this is bad.
I was the same way. My buddy Gary, I lived in Pennsylvania. I came back. We moved back home to Indiana, and my buddy Gary was like, hey, man, I got this Can-Am Defender HD5. Like, come over to the house, man. We'll take it down to the lake. And, dude, I rode in that thing, and I just felt free. I was hooked. Like, I went and bought we were in the process of moving back. So I moved back. The week after we moved back, I went and bought my first UTV. And, I mean, I got my first 6. So I've always been, you know, off-road, doing quad stuff. But I'd kind of gotten away from it because we lived in Pennsylvania and had anywhere to ride, and I didn't really know anybody there. Yeah, we came back. Dude, I bought my first one, and then I sold it and bought a better one, and sold it and bought a better one. And it's just kept going on, man. And I love doing this stuff, though. There's nothing.
It never ends, man.
That feeling when you're behind the wheel and just the sound and the smell and the vibrations, like, you forget about every other problem you have in your life for that amount of time. You don't think about anything else. You just think about what's happening in that moment. And being in the moment is such a great feeling to have, man. Like,
I think it's like the runner's high, but it's the driving high. Like, people that run and runner's high, it's the driver's high, man. You're in your mode, and it's like, I don't know. You definitely forget about all your worries. You ain't stressed out about your bills when you're ripping and having a good time. That's for damn sure.
Right.
It's nice to be able to escape. This is my number one thing that can make me escape from the reality. And, like, especially we do those trips, like the takeover stuff.
Yeah.
You're gone for 3 weeks or something. Yeah. You come back, it's like even just pulling into my little town, I'm like, oh my God. What happened? What were you guys all doing?
If you could collaborate with any other YouTuber or brand, who would it be and why? I'm gonna take a picture of us being stuck though.
I got a little distracted. I was getting caught up in the old interview here, and I just didn't notice that I fell off this giant little cliff here. And these O-boards, great for rock climbing, not mud. They're smooth. They turn into slicks. I started kind of crawling and getting out, and then I'm like ran into that little tread right there, and I'm just like, there's no way. If I could collaborate with anybody, man, that would be a toughie. I've been extremely grateful and like, or I should say fortunate. I've met like all the people I ever watched. It's pretty weird. Like oh man, it's wild. I've met Ken Block. I remember like at the one Cletus thing, it's like interviewing Kyle Busch. I remember being a kid watching NASCAR growing up. I'm like, I cannot believe I'm interviewing Kyle Busch right now.
Right.
He definitely has no fucking idea who I am. And I did just shove a camera in his face. And so, like, he just won the race, and he got out, and I was like, I'm right here. I'm just going to pretend like I'm somebody. And he just gave me an interview. It's like, he totally thinks it's probably one of Cletus's boys or something like that. But thanks, brother. Right. If I could choose anybody, I think I would maybe choose Travis Pastrana.
Yeah.
Yep. Hang on. I'm not a neutral.
That's actually what Jacob said.
Really?
Yeah. I met.
Where you at, Travis?
Yeah, I met him actually at the Freedom Factory for the Freedom 500 when I was down there, and dude, absolutely the coolest guy. Like, he sat and chilled, and talked to me like he had known me for like 30 years, bro. It was and that's, I was telling him, one of the scariest things for me, like, seeing people like that I've watched forever, is I'm so afraid they're gonna suck.
Happens. Yeah. I've had my fair shares of run-ins with people. It's no secret. People already know it. It's like the blog guys, stuff like that. It's all shit in the past, though. It is what it is. It's not like great. And it really, for me, it was a real freaking sticky situation. Not gonna get into like crazy details because it took me a long time.
I can imagine.
To let some shit go. But it's honestly changed me a lot. Because I'm a pretty uptight. I'm pretty uptight. I can be pretty, aggressive. I don't know. I felt like I reached this wall where I just kind of broke. And I was like, I kind of just chilled out and just, maybe I'm not perfect or anything. But it definitely made me just kind of look at things differently. And that's what made me do this full time. Some of the worst that's happened to me in my life, not even just side-by-side related, sometimes it just turns around and next thing you know, like you got something better going on. It's weird how life does that to you.
Yeah, it's like, every time I always have to try to remind myself that when it seems like a chapter or a door is closed, it's normally because there's something better waiting for me, but I can't get to it until this thing is complete, until it's closed.
I was always self-employed, man. I've only worked for people maybe like 4 times.
Yeah, me too.
I found out real quick, I don't like being told what to do.
Well, I told my wife I knew her in high school, didn't get together until later on, and I told her, I said, if you want somebody that's going to have a job and is going to leave here at 8 o'clock in the morning and be home at 5:30 every day, nope. I'm not the one. I said, and I told her straight up, I said, look, I am never going to somewhere that I don't want to be and have somebody that I don't like telling me to do stuff I don't want to do for 8 hours a day. That's never happened.
Put a bullet in me. Put me down.
Yeah.
No way. I couldn't do it, man. It's like, if this all failed, I'd probably just go back to car hauling, as much as that sounds horrible. Huh? Yeah. How you doing? You doing good, brother? Yeah, I could never do that, man. I the working for people, it's just not my thing. I remember when I graduated high school, I my mom had cancer and stuff, and I had some really nice people help me out and get me like pre-college and all sorts of. And I freaking I went to that college, dude, and I looked at those dorm rooms and all. I'm like, I hate school as it is. Why the hell would I go back? Like, I don't want to do this. Right? And I'm like, I almost thought about being a welder, 'cause some welding stuff in school, and like, that's dirty. That looks. I want to do.
Right.
And I'm like, I had some money saved up. I went and made cards and started knocking on doors and buying people's crappy cars and scrapping them or cleaning them up and reselling them. I did that for like 2 or 3 years. I don't know. Figure out something. I'll figure out anything besides. I remember my first job ever was a dishwasher. I think I made it like 3-4 days. I told those guys, go get and walked out of there.
My first job was Hardee's. I did the same thing. That was the only thing close. I lived in a super small town, so that was like the only thing close to us, and it was right across the street from the high school. That was just never for me. My dad has always, worked for himself and done his own thing, and I was kind of
my dad too. That's how I got those tools. If my dad didn't show me that stuff, I mean, independent and being able to do your own thing, man.
Yep.
Because once you do it, if you fail, it's your own damn fault.
Yep.
And it's like you didn't. It's that Cameron Haynes saying, "Work harder, nobody cares."
Yep.
It's the damn truth.
Right.
And
so the last question I have for you, and this, well, I forgot Paige and Whiskey to ask them, but I ask this at the end of every interview.
All right, lay it on me.
If your off-road life had a theme song, what would it be?
I like that. It would. First thing that came to mind is the Dukes of Hazzard theme song.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just the good old boys. Never meaning no harm.
Right.
Been in trouble with the laws since the day they were born. And it's the truth. I've been driving around Mesick, where I live, since I was a kid, man. And it's always been getting in trouble and being a hooligan. It's been the thing. And now it's just bigger toys, bigger bills, and more responsibilities. I think I would go with the Dukes of Hazzard theme song, man. It's like
that's a good one.
I almost wanted to do a parody intro of like the old one.
Oh yeah,
of like me, my buddy Nick, and Jake, and all of us doing it.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah, through the flaming bow and arrow.
Dude, we got to get together at some point outside of this and ride a little bit, as well. Because I would love to come out and shoot some content and help you guys, whatever you guys need help with. And I'd love to have you guys out at one of my events at some point too, man. That would be really awesome.
Yeah, it's so like how we're talking earlier about like who would I want to work with and people I have worked with and everything.
Right.
Man, it's finding the right people. Like, it's that thing of, like, looking out to people, meet some of them. It's, like, for me, I don't go out of my way of people that are way bigger than me. Like, say, like, when I was hanging out with Cletus, never in a million years would I, like, be like, hey, dude, we should collaborate and do a video together. Fucking kill my soul. A little piece of me would wither away to the sky. And it's like, but if he brought up, it would be awesome. But, because it's like, he can't gain anything from me.
Right.
It's especially people at that level. That's insane status. Maybe people that aren't that much bigger, you could get some benefits, especially if it's a relatable niche and everything. But like Julian, for instance, I love Julian. He's a good friend of mine. I've only got to hang out with him a couple times, but we've talked for years, man, on the phone and brainstorming and talking about this stuff because there are not many people you get to talk content creator information with. And there is this weird feeling, I feel like, in this industry where it's like there's not enough room for everybody.
Right.
People have that attitude, which ain't the case. There's room for everybody.
There's plenty of room for everybody.
Like, that would be like you saying, like, I can't start a podcast today because there's too many podcasts. My ass. Right. You tell me there's somebody right now today that's going to create a podcast, and maybe in a year or two it's going to be baller, and they're going to live a whole different life. Right. It's just a matter of working with the right people. You, dude, you're the bomb. I appreciate doing this and everything and hanging out. We got to go riding. I'll definitely be down. Let's do an event. It's like I have tons of friends that have like maybe smaller channels, maybe because it's not even necessarily the thing they want to like do that, but always want to shout out people and grow. Because I think about when I was in those shoes, and not getting that type of reciprocation was very disappointing. Yeah, I hated when I would collaborate with people that I thought was almost like my friends, right, and not get this recognition. And it's like, dude, I know I'm not like pushing some insane audience, but maybe you are gaining something from it, even if it's just a few. Right. But also, like, why not? Like, why wouldn't you? Let's work together. Like, more me being bigger, whatever, us working together is just more ways of making content, more people hang out. Like, if you're, I don't know, it's just a weird way of looking at it. And me and Julian are actually, like, we're friends. We both are content creators. That's the dude I want to hang with and make stuff and progress with and help grow. And people like you, like-minded individuals to get along with and, like, don't got that, like, I don't know, attitude of, like, they're not with the people, man. I hate that. I've noticed that with some people, not to hate on them or whatever, but when I go to an event, I'm hanging out with everybody. I'm not isolating myself out of it. No. I want to hang out with everybody. I want to have a damn good time. Right. And it blows my mind, the people that, like, isolate themselves out of that. It's like, also, those are the people that, it's the reason you could do what you're doing. Why do you not want to hang out with them? Am I going to say every time it's been fantastic? No. I've met some weird people. Right. but you get that in just regular life. Right. You meet weird people at Walmart. Yeah, exactly, bro. That's a guarantee. You ain't walking seeing one warlock where you're like, holy hell, that's a double head turner right there. I'm getting rubber band man action going.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Zach. I really, really do appreciate you doing this, man. And I think people are gonna love this episode and this interview. And I just can't thank you enough. I know this was kind of out of the blue and just me. I didn't know what else to do. There's certain people that I watched, and there's certain people that I don't, and there's certain people that I know of, and there's just I just respect you guys, man. I like your channel. I like what you've built. It's built, through honesty. It's built through integrity. You've done it the right way, and so to be able to have you on such an early episode of this, because this isn't super known yet, but we're hoping.
You're doing the right things, though, man. You're getting people in the industry on there, and like that's where it needs to be copacetic. It's that for like obviously Whiskey Biz has a you following on TikTok or whatever it is, and it's like all it takes is him is doing a little bit of giving you some shout outs, and it can change everything. Yeah. And that's like, so we're making a video right now today of us riding around here, and we're already probably said your name like 18,000 times, and then it's like I'm gonna say it another 18,000 times, and it's like more people to work with and hang out and like be in this industry, the better, man. Like I agree. I want your shit to just blow up. I mean, like I want everybody's shit to blow up. I want everybody to be having a good time. Right. It's because this stuff is stupid fun. Yeah, you do the events, man. We're gonna have to do an event together. We're gonna have to tell me which ones you're doing. I'll see which ones I can maybe get to. Something, dude, and we'll do some hanging out.
And I think Whiskey Biz is actually going to host one of them, so I'll try to find out which one. Maybe we could all just kind of get together. That would be awesome, man. If we could just get.
You don't got to tell me with a good time, brother.
Get Julian down there too. That would be rad.
Speaking of Whiskey Biz, man, I'm pretty new to him. Yeah. And I like his content. Yeah. I like his like crazy razor shit he's doing and stuff. Yeah. His teenager thing. It's pretty funny. I can only do so many. Stuff, but he has a very damn good sense of humor. I love when he made the fucking giant cup for his wife and stuff. Hilarious. But like what he's doing, what is so odd to me is like he has such a giant following on these certain platforms, but YouTube is like doesn't do that well. It's like a retrospect of the numbers to everything else.
Right. Well, so his TikTok really first caught fire. So his
TikTokers, dude.
So his main focus was trying to grow that to 100,000. Once that hit 100,000, then he started working on Facebook. Facebook just hit 100,000 not all that long ago.
How many has he got on TikTok? He's got to have millions, right?
Yeah, I think it's a little over 2 million now.
Woo.
Yeah. So, and then YouTube was the last of that. So he's recently just started posting there. And I tell you, that teenager thing, when I talked to him about it, what's so crazy is, that's, people think, oh man, that must have opened up a whole demographic to him of younger creators, of younger people. And it did, but what it also did was it connected him to their parents. Because their parents are like, dude, that's exactly how my kid acts. You know what I mean?
He's a very smart. I would assume that his wife has a big. I think when I was listening to her, she was saying now she is the business person or something like that a little bit. It's that type of thinking in this world because, like I always said earlier, there is no blueprint. Truck hauling business, damn near any mofo could go out there and start one.
Yeah,
right?
well, and those two combined are a powerhouse.
That's the thing, man, is having a team. That's been my biggest thing this year, and what I've said, I want to build a team, even if it's not, I can't necessarily pay for Jake to be full-time, and he can't sacrifice not going to his job.
Right.
It's like, same with Nick, stuff like that. But I could hire somebody to do work on my website, because I'm not, like I said, I'm not a computer guy. Right. I tried doing that stuff, and I'm sitting there trying to teach myself. I'm like, by the time I learn how to do this,
you could do
I could have paid somebody and it would have been done right, because I'm going to fuck it up 1,800 times and it's going to be bad. Right. But it's like getting the right people around you. When I went to MTS and we did our shock setups, and I saw what type of crew of people he built around that business, I'm like, these people aren't mad to be at work. They all seem happy, which is, that ain't content creating. They're doing work.
Right.
For him to have an environment like that and everybody be happy, that's awesome. And everybody has their thing they do. Yeah. And say my team with me, Jake, and Nick. Nick and Jake ain't computer people. Jake takes care of the orders on our website, which is awesome. It's a huge thing to not think about and stuff. But for him to do some animation or do whatever, something radical with the website, me and him are on the phone. It's like then we're watching videos while on the phone together. It's like, that's too much, man. You figure out who can do what the best. Work smarter, not harder.
Right.
And I think this year, that's what I'm really trying to figure out is just making things more smooth, because you cannot lay all that pressure on yourself. You'll burn yourself out. It won't be fun no more. And then what was even the point of doing all this? Right. You created an audience and it was cool. They got to benefit from it, but I'm still a person and I'm trying to make a life out of this thing. I need to live. And
well, I think you are well on your way, brother.
I'm trying, and I hope all more stuff like this. We'll do some events together and do some riding, man. We'll take this thing somewhere else where we aren't going 4 miles an hour and don't have 37s on it. We'll move down on 35s. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to this episode of Talking Side by Side. Make sure you go to Dirt Dudes UTV on YouTube, on Facebook. Follow them everywhere they're at. DirtDudesUTV.com, right? The website?
Yep, that's my website. We are a dealer for, a lot of companies. Go on there. There's tons of them. Everything that we run is basically on there just about. It's parts that we believe in and we've been using for years. It's
nice.
And then, so we have Instagram, Facebook. Those are two very great platforms. If you wanted to, today you could have been here and you would have been riding with us. There's a bunch of people.
Right.
Yeah. At one point when you and Jake were driving around, I think there was 20 cars following you guys.
Yeah, it was pretty nuts. And you just posted that 2 days ago, right?
Yeah, I at night.
Yeah.
So a day and a half ago, I just texted Jake. I'm like, do you think we should invite people? And it's because Jake's done this, but I've never done a video of it, and it's just love the Dirt Army, man. That's come out and represent, and everybody that goes on there, if you're seeing this and you're going to check out our stuff, you guys at the bottom, I appreciate you dudes. It's making my journey a little bit easier and one step farther. So it's the bomb, man.
Well, thank you again, man. I greatly appreciate it, and we will see you next episode.
Hell yeah, brother. What episode is this, anyways? My interview was probably pretty long, huh?
few ingredients I need to do this stuff is, and I hate to say it, not when I'm racing, obviously, it's alcohol and loud music, bro.
And we are sitting in cab with Larry Dreadbone Oaks. Larry, how are you, bud?
I ended up having a drug problem. I met a stripper, and she was into drugs, and I wanted to hang out with her, so I did the drugs with her, and next thing you knew, I had lost everything.